DFT Guru, bringing to you guys another episode of my DFS Fantasy Sports podcast. And tonight we have a pretty big NBA slate on our hands. We also have football going on. We got the Patriots against the Bills. So we'll be having a single game for that as well, along with the Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football slate, full roster lineup. So tonight we have a ton of value to look through. There's two games in particular that I really like. There's some studs who are out, so I'm going to make this video as short but as informative as possible for you guys. Really looking to tear apart this NBA slate. I'm really looking just to have a huge night tonight. I had a really bad Week 8 NFL yesterday. All the guys I was really confident in and built most of my lineups around. I had like 3 or 4 core guys, and they all just didn't pan out. I ended up just missing it on the Bengals and Steelers game. I had no exposure to that game except for Dalton, and everyone was on Mixon and whatever. Tough week, and we're going to bounce back tonight. I'm sure of that. Tons of value. So let's jump right into things today. Just going to go through each slate, spend more time on other games than some others because there's just better value in certain games. So we have Atlanta at Philly. This game is a pretty high over-under. We have a 232 over, which is, I think, the second highest on the slate. Yeah. But there is a chance of a blowout here, and there's not really any value. Everyone's healthy in this game. There's really nowhere to save some money. All the studs in this game are pretty highly priced. Simmons is 10.5. That's pretty expensive, seeing as he hasn't really reached his value except for the first 2 games of the year. And Embiid, I think, is the highest we've ever seen him at 11K. So I'm honestly all set with this game in general. Maybe you get Saric in there. 6K isn't terrible, but with the Sixers fully healthy, I don't love the play. I know this game has a high total, but there is a risk of a blowout, and there's not much value to go around. I don't know. Bembry's been pretty good. 4,400 is a decent play here. He gets over 20 fantasy points, but again, there's still risk there. I don't really love the play. I just don't love many guys in this game. So we'll go right into the next game. Another game that isn't great. Portland at Indiana. There also isn't much value in this game to go around. Tyreek Evans is questionable. What a violation of team rules. Shocker here, Tyreek Evans just not getting along with the staff and the team. He has a long record of doing that kind of shit. This is why he's been on 18,000 different teams. So he's never a guy I'm really going to play off the bench anyways unless there's an injury. Just no one really pops out to me in this game either. The first few games on this slate I really aren't looking into. It's more the later games here that I'm really interested in. Sabonis just doesn't get enough playing time for me to really roster him, even in GPP formats. Al-Farouq Aminu can have pretty big games. He plays decent minutes, but he can always drop a dud. The 14 and the 10 there really keep me scared off of him. So I'm not loving this game either, and I'm not really loving Sacramento at Miami either. These games just don't present much value here. There's no need to force yourself into thinking you should pick a guy from every game or get exposure to the early games. Doesn't matter what time a game is. You gotta look at the matchups and look at the players and which games feature the most injuries. And these first 3 games really don't present much value. De'Aaron Fox is too expensive. The Kings just are really sketchy in general. I don't like this game either. Brooklyn at New York. This game's a little bit better. It's a clash of 2 pretty bad teams. This game should stay close. We have a 2 spread here, so expect this game to need all the starters through all 4 quarters. The over-under is pretty underwhelming, but It's a pretty good GPP game. It's going to go pretty under the radar. D'Angelo Russell has shown he has a pretty high ceiling. He's really starting to catch fire a little bit. But he's a big risk too because he has a pretty low floor as well. In 7K, you're not really saving too much money with D'Angelo Russell here, but I don't mind him as a GPP play. He can be pretty good. LeVert, the Nets are really counting on him. He's a young upcoming star for them. I wouldn't say star yet, but he could be. He's really athletic. He's a pretty good guard on the wing there. He's a stretch guard, pretty tall. He can rebound as well and assist. He really fills up the stat sheet. So if he has it going on, he should be pretty low owned too tonight. But 7,200 again is a pretty expensive price. And really, same goes for Tim Hardaway. He's got a really, really high ceiling. If you guys have been playing DFS while he's been in the league, he's shown that he can absolutely explode and score up towards 40 real points in a game. He actually opened the season up with 51 fantasy points. So this is a guy who can really get hot, but he's also a guy who can just, have a pretty moderate game. And at 6,700, there is a lot of risk there. So I've yet to come across a cash game play yet. So we're just going to go right through these first few games here. Golden State at Chicago, another game that I'm looking to just really stay on the GPP side of things in this one. It's got a high total, but like 90% of the games that the Warriors play, there's a risk of a blowout. They're minus 11.5 point favorites. But the Bulls could stay in this game. They're at home. They have some young studs. They can stay. They can run the floor with these Warriors. Warriors have been on a pretty long road trip, so maybe they're going to be a little tired. I don't mind this game in GPP. I don't mind spending up for for Curry and Durant. Durant's been as consistent as ever. He should go pretty under the radar tonight as well. He's a really good stud to pay up for. You could almost make a case that he's a good cash game play tonight at 10-6. He seems to get over 50 fantasy points more than not. So I don't mind him at all. Steph Curry's more of a GPP guy, but he can light up the stage as well. And he's really been just draining threes this year. I think it was Bleacher Report. They had a stat. Curry's hit more threes by himself than he has than like 3 or 4 NBA teams so far this year. So he's on pace to set a ton of records. Look at his points. It's just unbelievable. He hasn't scored less than 29 points in a single game this year. He's got a guy like Cameron Payne on him. He could absolutely torch him. I like Steph Curry a lot. If you're going to do any exposure to this game, I suggest going Durant or Curry. It's really hard for them both to go off together. Durant more of a cash guy, Curry more of a GPP guy. As far as the Bulls go, I'm just going to be rooting for them to just collectively play well and stay in this game. Individually, I don't trust any Chicago Bull in this game whatsoever. We got Toronto at Milwaukee. Now the injuries and the values really start kicking into gear here. You got Giannis and Kawhi Leonard. Both small forwards from each team are out tonight. They both have some of the highest usage rates in the NBA. So this is going to open up a ton of value in this game. I'm talking 2, maybe 3 players from each team could be cash game plays tonight, guys. Do not be afraid to absolutely load the cannons on this one. Kyle Lowry, more of a GPP guy just because he's 9,000, but he's a guy who gets over 40 fantasy points a lot. But again, he can kind of stink when the pressure's all on him and he's the stud. He's used to playing next to guys like DeRozan and Leonard. When he's the second best player, he seems to play his best. So I don't know if I love Lowry in cash games. He likes assisting guys. He likes having a star next to him. But who knows? Maybe he'll score more tonight. The usage is definitely going to be there for him. I love Eric Bledsoe at 7,700, and I love Chris Middleton. The Bucks are really going to rely on these two guys to handle a bulk of their plays and their scoring. Expect both guys to really go off tonight. They collectively need to get like over 60 fantasy points to reach value, and I think they do so easily. Middleton's been an awesome player for the past couple of years since he got back from his bad injury. I love him tonight with no Giannis. I also love Where is he? Ersan Ilyasova is another great play at 4,100. I think he's going to get a lot of run tonight. He should get at least 25 minutes. He's drawing the start. It's already confirmed. So at 4,100, you can't go wrong here. He's actually a guy that was reaching value while the Bucks were fully healthy. So this is really a cash game lock for me. There's really no way to look around this. He's just an awesome play. I also really, really like Pascal Siakam. I think that's how you say it. 4,400. Another great play here tonight. There's no OG Agunbi, and there's no Kawhi Leonard, like I said. So he should get a lot of running time tonight. He's starting too. I don't mind if you do a pairing of Ilyasova and Pascal at the same position tonight. I don't mind that at all. This game you just need to get a lot of exposure out of, as do the Lakers in Minnesota. This game is the biggest spread on the night. Biggest total on the night by a pretty large margin. 240 over under. I think that is the highest total of the year so far. That is an absolutely ridiculous total. If you're not looking at this game, you don't know what you're doing. This is a game you need to also really look at. It's a 2 spread. This game should stay really close. It's going to be really, really competitive, and everyone's playing, so expect these teams to really be firing on all cylinders in this game. We got to look at Wiggins. He's still a game-time decision. He's been out the past few games, so that makes it more likely than not that he's going to sit out. But we'll see. I honestly don't think his news affects much. I love, and I know people have been burned by him, but I love Towns tonight. 8,800 is just a really good price. He's too good of a player. I know he has started out the year pretty, just sloppy and just doesn't look like his normal dominant self. But this matchup is so perfect for him. It's going to be up and down the court all game long. These teams have a ton of young legs. And I think he's going to be able to run the floor with McGee very well. I think McGee's going to really struggle with Towns. Towns is a guy who can shoot the 3 ball, and McGee is not a good shot defender. McGee exceeds and excels in the paint. He's an absolutely stud of a shot blocker in the paint. But when it comes to, 20-foot jumpers and deeper out, McGee can really get torched. I think Towns is a perfect play tonight. He's going to get his shots up, and he's going to have his usage. The Timberwolves just rely on him way too much. 8,800 is really cheap. I don't mind McGee for GPPs, but I'm really just looking for Towns over McGee for 2,000 more. LeBron's not a bad stud to pay up for. I think I'd rather spend up for Durant, with him being almost 2,000 cheaper. As far as everyone else goes, Butler's not a bad play either. 9,400 isn't terrible. And Jeff Teague's a pretty good GPP play because he's going to go very overlooked tonight, but he's going to get his 30 minutes, and he could find himself in the middle of a lot of scoring. So 6,600 is a pretty good price for him there. And even Derrick Rose coming off of the bench, he's getting 25-plus minutes a night. He's still only 4,800. I wouldn't say he's a cash game play, but he's a really, really good value, and he should go pretty overlooked tonight as well. I like Rose coming off the bench. He's looked really good this year so far. 2 more games left. We'll buzz right through them. I like the Pelicans and Nuggets a lot more than this Mavericks and Spurs game. We got to wait on Doncic's injury status. He's still a game time. So just look closer to tip off for that. That should open up some value on the side of the Mavericks. But in general, I don't love this game too much. There's not too much value to go around. The total is 214, so it's not great. It's the lowest total on the night. I don't love this game by any means. So we'll just go right into this Pelicans-Nuggets game, and this has another huge injury news. We have Anthony Davis out tonight. It's really nice when Davis is out before he starts the game. It opens up a lot of value. He's normally a guy who can get hurt during the game, and he really screws a lot of DFS owners. It's really nice to see him out before the game instead of forcing himself and starting a game when he's actually hurt and then getting taken out at halftime. So this is a really good news for us DFS players. Opens up a lot of value because Davis is just such a versatile player. I really like Julius Randle in this spot tonight, guys. They're going to need him a lot to be on Jokic. He's only 6,300, and Randle is is absolutely a baller in my opinion. I think he's really underrated. He's really good on the glass, and he's really good on the defensive side of things. This game should be very fast-paced. He should find himself blocking some shots, getting some steals, and rebounding the ball a lot. Jokic is a great GPP play just because of the ceiling he has. He can really go off in this game as well, and he doesn't have to deal with Anthony Davis. So that's another huge positive for him. Jokic is never a bad play when he's settling around that 10K salary. Mirotic is a pretty good play with no Davis, 7,300. I also really like Etuan Moore because the last injury we got to discuss is Alfred Payton. This really opens up things for Jrue Holiday. You could even look towards Frank Jackson. He's looking to get some more run with no Alfred Payton. He could even maybe start tonight. And remember, guys, on FanDuel, you have to have a punt play because your lower score is dropped. That's a new thing this year. I don't mind having Frank Jackson be your $3,500 guy tonight just because he could actually get a lot of run in this game. And if you have to drop his score, so be it. But he should be the guy benefiting the most here. With Alfred Payton out. But I also really like Jrue Holiday at 8,000. He should be running a lot of the point guard duties tonight, and he's going to have a ton of usage without Payton and Anthony Davis on the court. So I don't mind a little stack of Jrue Holiday, Etuan Moore, Mirotic, and Julius Randle. The Pelicans' side of things is really, really beneficial here, and I think they're really good plays. But that really sums it up, guys. There's not really much news to look at before tip. We have all what we need right here with these big studs being out. So I hope you guys like this video. Drop a like. And I'm also going to have these cash and GBP lineups up on my site for free tonight just because I feel bad for how shitty NFL went yesterday. So just look forward to that on my site, around 6 o'clock Eastern, an hour before tip. I should have lineups ready to go. Also, obviously, like I said, I'm playing the NFL single game and the full roster slates along with NHL. So guys, let's get to it, and let's get going tonight on FanDuel DFS World. Until next time, I am the FD Guru, and I'm signing off.